This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to Lockdown Coverage week number 9 in the National Football League. Cincinnati Bengals at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars coming off of a bye week. And this is a team playing outstanding defense. If you ask me, top to bottom, best defense in all of the National Football League right now as constructed. Offense slowly but surely coming along. I'm starting to notice Blake Bortles taking care of the football, making conscious decisions to not force the football into some bad spots. He almost did throw a couple of picks in this game, so I'm not going to act as if he's all clean all of a sudden, but he looks like he's doing a much better job of managing the game these days, and that's all they need him to do. They don't need him to go out and be the Blake Bortles that they drafted him to be when he was throwing the football 45 times a game and having to try to will the team to a victory. That's not what they're looking for from him. Don't turn it over. Manage the game. Convert on third downs. We're going to put you in some third and manageables. Make the right decisions. We're going to run boots with you. Use your legs and your athleticism. He's a sneaky, athletic quarterback. Use those legs to get outside and out-leverage that contain on the edge. Get to the play-action fake. And if it's not there, use your legs, run, and create short distance situations on third downs by using your legs. And maybe even pick up a first down or two throughout the course of the game with your legs. So Blake is doing a pretty good job. This was an impressive game by Blake Bortles. This was total domination. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this game. This was, and the scoreboard may not reflect total domination, but I'll explain to you over the course of this video that this was in fact total domination by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and in fact, an ass whooping dished out by the Jags. Now, the Jags may have won the war, but the battle was won by A.J. Green. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, too. That was a lot of fun to watch, and I actually found myself watching that one-on-one matchup more so than the game at times, because in order for a guy like A.J. Green, it's A.J. Green to get upset to the point where he's like, to hell with it. I'm getting thrown out of this game, and I'm willing to break my hand to break this dude off. Some things had to have been going on throughout the course of the game, and I was able to do some investigative detective work. Yeah, there was some jawing going on back and forth, a little bit of physicality after plays, and it led up to, and it was a simple push, but it was so unnecessary. AJ had enough, and he was ready. It was time to go. And so you rarely see a dude. AJ is such a savage. He put the man in the chokehold. Normally cats go straight for the helmet smush. You know, you're hoping they go open hand, because a closed hand means you're looking to break your hand, and nothing good can come of a closed fist going against an NFL helmet. Normally the closed fist is going to lose that battle every time. But AJ said, to hell with that, man. I'm putting this man to sleep. Go to sleep. I mean, he went Debo on that man. Put him to sleep. And then after he got up, he tried to rock him a couple of times. AJ, such a savage, man. Love it. But the Jags did, in fact, win the war, though. The battle was won by A.J. Green, but the war was won by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's the most important thing. They won the war, which allows them to get the W 23-7 in this football game. They get to 5-3 on the season, still remain atop the AFC South division along with Tennessee at 5-3. Cincinnati just abysmal in this game, and we'll talk about that quickly as they drop to 3-5 on the season with this 23-7 loss. But I'm your man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me here on Lockdown Coverage. If you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game over here. Want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscribe button. I've got a number of social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, there's Facebook, there's also YouTube. All of those are down in the description below. Check those out and go ahead, turn on those notifications so you know when I'm going live. Also, if you want to donate to this channel, please, by all means, do so. Those are the two means that you have to do so. I've done a video on Patreon telling you what you get, the benefits of you donating through Patreon. That's in the description as well. So check that out. All of my links to everything down in the description of this and all videos moving forward. So if you want exclusive content on the Louie T Network, donating via Patreon is going to be the way that you're going to be able to get that. So check that video out if you haven't already done so, and donate if you can to the Louie T Network. That being said, let's jump into this breakdown quickly. Jacksonville Jaguars getting the win 23-7. Another defensive gem put forth by this Jaguars team. And if they're going to make the postseason, if they're going to make a push to win that AFC South division, it's going to be on the backs of their defense. Their defense is legit. They add in another good defensive piece in Marcel Darius last week. So they get even better up front, which was already a dominant group. Another 2 sacks for Jacksonville in this game. They were able to keep the Cincinnati Bengals under 200 yards of total offense in this game, where the Jacksonville Jaguars, and again, it got a lot easier to do that once A.J. Green excused himself from the game right before halftime with the brouhaha and the little melee that ensued. But in any event, they were trending towards holding this Cincinnati Bengals team down in any event. And so they were dominating this game. Defensively, didn't allow the Cincinnati Bengals to run the football, didn't allow the Cincinnati Bengals to throw it for the most part. And like I said, they don't have to do much on the offensive side of the football when the defense is holding the other team to less than 200 yards of total offense and only 7 points. You're going to win most games in this league if you hold the other team to under 200 yards of total offense and 7 points. You hold a team to under double digits, you're supposed to win in this league 10 times out of 10. Now, it doesn't always happen that way. We've seen teams lose games 9-7. But if you hold a team under 10 points, theoretically, you're supposed to win every single time in this league. There's no excuse for losing a game when your defense is able to hold the other team to under double-digit points. But the Jaguars are going to be one of those teams that defensively going to make it tough on you to score points. And if they don't turn it over themselves, they're going to be in just about every single ball game because of the level of defense that they play. They're flying around to the football. Yannick Ngakoue, Dante Fowler Jr., Calais Campbell, Malik Jackson, all those guys up front are getting immediate pressure on the quarterback. Now you add Marcel Darius, that's going to help stop the run, help get more pressure on the quarterback. A.J. Boye, Jalen Ramsey, and Roosevelt Colvin, or not Roosevelt, but Colvin in the secondary. That's going to be huge for them because that allows the front four to get pressure on the quarterback, because that back half is holding it down and making the quarterback have to hold and maybe go through an extra read or two, maybe even trying to get to the check down and maybe doesn't even have time to get there. So they work in unison with one another. Miles Jack flying around. Paul Posluszny still playing at a very high level. It felt like he was everywhere in this particular game. And so the defense was dominant yet again, and they stifle another offense in this time in the Cincinnati Bengals, and they helped get the job done. The offense, I thought, was really solid without Leonard Fournette for a second consecutive game. This time he was out because of violation of team rules. Don't know exactly what he did, but it can't hurt to send him out another game anyway, because it gave him another week to get even healthier. So I didn't have a problem with it. But he's got to straighten up and do right. He needs to be on the football field if he's healthy enough to play. That being said, Chris Ivory and the rest of the guys picked up the slack. I will say TJ Yeldon, stop putting the ball on the ground. 2 fumbles in this game, lost one of them. Stop putting the ball on the carpet. If you want to go back to being inactive, that's the fastest way to do so. They have no problems playing Corey Grant, Corey Ivory, and Leonard Fournette and leaving you off the active list. So don't do that. Okay, don't put the football on the carpet. Don't make them make you inactive again, because they will. As soon as Leonard Fournette comes back, you'll be the odd man out if you want to continue to fumble the football. You have a skill set that does help this football team that none of the other backs really bring to the table, and that's a dynamic, change of pace, third down back. You can be that guy. You can fill that role. Stop fumbling the football. That being said, Blake Bortles, I thought, did a really good job of just managing the game. 12 of 18 were the Jacksonville Jaguars on third downs in this game. 12 of 18. Listen to what I just said to you. 12 of 18. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Over 60% of their third downs, they converted them in this game. Think about that for a second. up close to 70% of their third. They had 18 third downs. They converted 12. That's great management of the game by Blake Bortles and company. Marquise Lee did have another drop, but he also caught another touchdown pass, or caught his first touchdown of the season. So that's good news. He's been really good for them this year. Despite the drops, he's been really good for them this year. Mercedes Lewis having a resurgence this year. He's continuing to make plays in the passing game. And they just continue to just stay ahead of the sticks, ahead of the down and distance, and allowed themselves to be in manageable third down situations that they continue to convert throughout the day. So they did a really good job of keeping the Jaguar offense on the field, keeping the Cincinnati Bengals offense off the field by converting third downs. And so they were outstanding in this football game, were the Jacksonville Jaguars. And their special teams even chipped in. And they get a return for a touchdown on a punt. And so they had all facets of the game working where the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game. They had everything going for them, and that's how they got to a 23-7 decisive victory over Cincinnati to run their record to 5-3 on the season. Mickens with that return, and he looks like he's going to have a nice little role carved out for himself as a special teams guy to help this Jacksonville Jaguars team along. You go to Cincinnati, really disappointing effort from them in this ball game after winning last week against the Indianapolis Colts. They were looking to make it 2 in a row, looking to get back to 500. And I told you, it's going to be an uphill battle for them that I don't think they'll ever reach, which is getting back to 500 on the season. When you start out 0-3, it's a tough climb back to the top of the mountain. And it's going to be hard for them to get back to 500 just to give themselves a chance. And heads are going to roll at the end of the season. We fully expect. He was on the last year of his deal, wasn't renewed. So we expected Marvin Lewis to be out in any event unless something major happened this year in a positive manner. It's not going to end up being that way. So we fully expect Marvin Lewis to be on his way out at the end of the season. Then the question becomes, are they going to promote from within? Or are they going to look for a new head coach outside of the building? We'll see what happens. But in any event, the offense already came into the game shorthanded, not as if, you know, the running back that usually starts the game, Jeremy Hill, is a big factor in what they do offensively, but he didn't play in this game, so they already came into the game shorthanded. And then you lose A.J. Green right before the halftime break, and it really just killed any kind of offensive rhythm and explosiveness that you were going to have. We still haven't really seen John Ross do much of anything this season. Injuries continue to hamper him. They tried to get the football down the field to Josh Malone, but the connection just wasn't there in this game. And the only guy that really showed up trying to make plays was Tyler Kroft. Other than Tyler Kroft, everybody else was pretty much non-existent offensively. Even Joe Mixon didn't do much of anything in this game. He did score the lone touchdown for Cincinnati in this ball game. But again, outside of Tyler Kroft, really no one showed up offensively for Cincinnati, and they didn't have a chance on that side of football. And defensively, they just couldn't get off the field on third downs. I told you the percentage there. Offensively, the Cincinnati Bengals were 1 of 8. So they weren't sustaining offense, and then they kept putting the defense on the field, and they couldn't get off the field on third down. So that skewed time of possession. That skewed the amount of opportunities Cincinnati had to score in this game. Then your best player gets thrown out of the game, and you're really at a steep start disadvantage if you're Cincinnati. Defensively, you didn't do enough. Offensively, you didn't do enough. And that's how you find yourself losing 23-7. And oh, by the way, your special teams didn't help you either, giving up a punt return for a touchdown to really seal the game at 23-7. So all around bad performance by Cincinnati on the road. Very, very disappointing. All around good performance. Nothing great is what the Jaguars didn't do anything great, but they did control the pace, time of possession, and possess the football in this game, and that allowed them to get away with the 23-7 victory. Again, the fight was very entertaining. So what you saw throughout the game early on, and Jalen Ramsey is one of those corners that loves to talk. He loves to get in your head. He's aggressive, over-aggressive to a point where it could get under somebody's skin, and it got under A.J. Green's skin, and you could see this thing was boiling. It was boiling. It was boiling. There were blocks on plays. There was a play early in the game. A.J. Green catches a pass. He goes out of bounds, and Jalen Ramsey hits him after he goes out of bounds. They don't call the flag, but Green gets up and gets in his face and says, hey, do that shit again if you want to. You're going to see what's going to happen. And so there was a back and forth chirping between the two. You could tell it was leading to something. And then finally, right before the half, it's a simple run play. Again, both of these guys are away from the football. Jalen Ramsey has no business pushing A.J. Green, but it's just something that an irritant does to get under the skin of another player. All right, so we both agree on this play. We're not going to try because the play is not coming our way and there's nothing going on. A.J. Green barely puts his hand on Ramsey, literally just touches his arm. Ramsey then in turn, he walks like he's going to walk away, then turns around and says, you know what? Nah, F that. Pushes the hell out of A.J. Green, who then falls, and then he says, you know what? Tired of this little bastard. I told him if he touched me again like that, there's going to be problems. And Jalen Ramsey just turns around all casual as if he didn't push him. And he's walking away, and A.J. Green with the sneak of all sneak chokeholds puts him in $1 million dream, puts him down on the ground, and then proceeds to try to get up and give it to him with a couple of punches. I said, A.J., those are working tools, buddy. Don't use those. Elbow, anything, not these. You need these to earn your check, bro. But he said, hey, I don't care right now. I'm going for the kill shot. He missed the first one. Did connect on a couple of blows underneath the pile, though. So AJ got his money's worth. He said, if I'm getting ejected, I'm at least. And I looked at the punch stats at the end, and AJ landed 6 of 8 shots. So CompuBox numbers show AJ Green highly accurate with the shots delivered. The chokehold counted as a delivered shot as well. So AJ Green, 6 of 8 on CompuBox. I thought he was highly accurate. I thought he did lead with the jab. Did a good job of staying busy throughout the round. And I'd have to say AJ Green won this contest going away. Easy, unanimous decision. AJ Green wins. But like I said, he won the battle or the battle. But the Jacksonville Jaguars won the war. They get the win 23-7 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's get to some comments quickly and we'll get out of here. Let's see. Gregory Fuller says, what are your thoughts on all the fights? I love it. I love all the fights. I love the feistiness. I love guys giving a damn. Because when I watched some of the other games like Giants-Rams, I saw a lot of guys that didn't give a damn. So when you see guys getting in fights, that means they care. There might be a little bit of sore losing in there. They're getting their ass whooped and they know it's not going their way and they're frustrated. But then there's also, in order to get into a fight, you got to give a damn. You know, people who don't care don't fight. I don't want to fight you because I don't care enough. When you get into a fight, that means you care enough. That means these guys give a damn. And that means you're protecting your teammates. In the case of Mike Evans, who just bombarded and bum rushed Marshawn Lattimore. That means he gives a damn about his teammate. He was probably pissed off about how the game was going, but hey, don't put your hands on my quarterback. He's already injured and out of the game. What's wrong with you? So he bum rushed him. So I love it. I really did. See. Gregory Fuller says, do you think AJ will be suspended? I wouldn't be surprised if he was. I hope he doesn't get suspended. But look, the league doesn't take kindly to guys throwing punches and putting players in chokeholds, and AJ was really aggressive in that situation. I'm trying to think back to when Andre Johnson got in a fight with Cortland Finnegan. Did he get suspended the next week? Because it was similar in nature to that fight. I don't think he got suspended the next game. I just thought he got a hefty fine and everybody moved to their separate ways. So I don't think he's going to get suspended, but it wouldn't shock me. The NFL has been a little bit more heavy in their fist coming down with penalties on guys for doing things that are non-football related. So it wouldn't shock me in the least if he did have a game suspension here, but I would not like to see that be the case. Vincent Cole says, where the hell is John Ross? Everyone wants to know the same question. I don't know if he's injured again or if they just don't like his production in practice and don't think he's ready, but they just can't seem to get him the football, and it doesn't make sense to me because with all that speed, you got to find a way to get him the football. The good coaches in this league find a way to get their playmakers to football. Sean McVay, I said this the first 4 weeks of the season. He has absolutely no idea how to use Tavon Austin. He knows how to use his ass now. He's figured out a way to get him the football 5 to 7, upwards of 10 times a game now. And Tavon Austin is flourishing in that offense. The good offensive play callers, they know how to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers. They'll figure it out. John Perez says, two-part question. Should Andy Dalton be benched, and is A.J. Green secretly sick of playing in Cincinnati? I don't know if he's secretly sick. He's sick of not getting the football. He's sick of them not winning. But to your other point, should Andy Dalton be benched? No. I mean, what are you going to do? Put in A.J. McCarron for what? He's a free agent next year. Are you going to re-sign him too? No, you're not. You're going to let him test free agency. He's going to want to go get paid and play for someone and try to be a starter. So what's the point of doing that? To create a controversy? Then you're going to have to franchise him or try to re-sign him next year? And then you're going to have 2 quarterback contracts on the books? Nah, you're not going to do that. There's no reason to. Vincent Cole says, I forgot to say, great catch yesterday. You caught to beat my Hawks, man. Still can't believe we lost, LOL. I can't believe you guys allowed us to get out of there with a W, man. I mean, of course, your field goal kicker missing 3 kicks, but unfortunately, you guys weren't. Well, no, fortunately, you guys weren't able to get the win. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic because our season was on life support. We needed that one. John Perez says, is Fournette benching a sign of lack of maturity? Is a simple rookie mistake? It's a lack of maturity. He's a guy that does have to grow up. That's a fact. Everyone knows that. Everyone knew that coming into the league, that he had some maturing to do. He'll get there. I think eventually he'll get there. But that was definitely a sign of a lack of maturity on his part, and he'll be better. I think he'll be better. Netsosoy01 says, AJ Green taking GSP lessons, LOL. Should he be suspended, though? I hope not. It wouldn't shock me if he did get a game, but he shouldn't be. You know, that was just the heat of the battle. He got thrown out of the game. Hell, Mike Evans didn't even get thrown out of the game for his cheap shot on Marshawn Lattimore. So at least Green got thrown out of his game. He's already been penalized enough. He was thrown out of the game, and his absence really hurt his team in the second half. So I think that should be enough right there. John Perez says, who on the Jags should be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, Calais Campbell or Jalen Ramsey? For me, Calais Campbell right now is leading that charge defensively. He's been outstanding. Ramsey and everybody on that defense has a role that they're playing to a T. Telvin Smith, Miles Jack, Yannick Ngakoue, Dante Fowler Jr. Everybody's got a role. You know, AJ Boye. I mean, all those guys are playing outstanding football, but to me, the biggest difference maker has been Calais Campbell and that interior pressure, allowing guys like Ngakoue to get off the edge and win, Fowler to get off the edge and win, because there's nowhere to step up because Calais Campbell is destroying the pocket on the interior, and he's getting his own sacks in addition to that. So I'd put Campbell above Ramsey for that right now. Vincent Cole says, AJ Green and Mike Evans are my starting receivers for fantasy, LOL. Looking like they both might be suspended. Shaking my damn head. It could happen. I don't think either one will get suspended. If one were to get suspended, it would be more likely to be AJ Green than Mike Evans. But we'll see. John Perez says, is AJ's outburst a sign that Marvin Lewis has completely lost the locker room? Plus, there were also reports of a near mutiny in the locker room after week 2 versus Houston. Okay, so to the first part of your question, no, it's not a sign that there is a mutiny coming or impending. That was just frustration. Frustration at Jalen Ramsey, frustration on probably how the season's going. But they're not near a mutiny. After week 2, yes, they were near a mutiny because they didn't like Ken Zampese, the offensive coordinator, who was horrendous, which is why they got off to the 0-2 start, which is why they ended up 0-3, because they made the switch at offensive coordinator too late. He was horrible. He wasn't getting playmakers touches. He wasn't getting the football to the right guy's hands. He knew the offensive line was bad in the preseason. He did nothing to alter that path. He did nothing to get the football out of the quarterback's hands quicker, to allow the offense to function at a high enough level so that they wouldn't lose to a Deshaun Watson-led team that struggled in his first start on a Thursday night in Cincinnati. That's why there was a near mutiny. But they fixed that problem. They got rid of him after that game. Things have gotten better, but they're just not a good football team. It's as simple as that. Vincent Cole says, if Jalen, he said, if you had to pick Jalen Ramsey or Marshawn Lattimore, I'd probably take Lattimore. Ramsey, to me, seems like the better all-around athlete and can stay healthy, which is a big plus. But Lattimore, to me, seems to be more of a playmaker, better hands, better ball skills, more, to me, even more physical than Ramsey is. And I look at Lattimore, he's got a cooler head. I think Ramsey is a bit of a head case. Marshawn Lattimore is more likely to be around when I need him. Ramsey could easily get himself a couple of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties in one game and get tossed or get thrown out of the game like he did last week or in this particular game here. So Marshawn Lattimore is a much more calm football player and does the things you want to see him do. But in any event, that's going to do it for this video here. Got to move on to the next one. Jags destroy the Cincinnati Bengals 23-7, move to 5-3 on the season. We'll see if the Jags keep up their trend of win one, lose one. They come off the bye week, and we're going to say the bye week served as the loss week. So now here's a big one. They finally snapped that streak of not being able to win 2 straight games. They did that. Now can they make it 3? On the road, I believe, against the Chargers, who are coming off of a bye week themselves. Should be pretty interesting there. Cincinnati, just hope that this season doesn't spiral out of control because they're not going to make the postseason. They're not a good football team. Now the question becomes, how do you allow this team to be competitive the rest of the season? We'll see if they're able to do that after the 23-7 loss that drops them to 3-5 on the season. That's going to do it for your man Louie T here on Lockdown Coverage. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. Come back and join me as I continue to break down everything and anything in the National Football League. More videos to come. Tons more to come. Colts, Texans next. And then we got a lot more to get to. So I'll see you in a little bit. Have a good one.